Alright, hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. This is going to be the fourth and final video of the Serenity City. This was the city I was kind of working with my brother about for his kind of world building kind of stuff. And the whole purpose of the city was to kind of be more like a model than like a full completed city. Just to kind of give like a layout of what he's writing, like these stories that take place in this place called Serenity City. So kind of just to help better visualize the different districts, so when you're writing your story you can just reference key elements. But yeah, this is just going to be kind of like a tour of what we kind of talked about. And yeah, so I probably won't do any more work on this. But yeah, we'll just get into it. So essentially, this is kind of like one of the old districts that's nestled between this little valley here. It had a main street, some shops down here, and people kind of living up in the mountains a bit. And people would go to work in this farming industry, and they had these cool like hiking trails along the side of the mountain. And it was pretty much just this. It had a water pump station, had a wastewater treatment station, and this was kind of just like one of the old original towns that kind of got the industry. They just built like a highway kind of around it and turned the main street into like a big road. And yeah, so that was kind of like this original town. There was also this city kind of sprawling over here, and this other town over here. And mm, I guess in the old days, this is just kind of like the history of Serenity City. In this like, this isn't like my brother's canonized version, but this is just kind of, I guess, this alternative universe, this inspiration model. There were these kind of like three kind of pockets of residential, and they kind of just slowly evolve. So this one, uh, more of a farming based along the river, had a train station, some industry, and this trade school for kind of teaching people, I guess maybe farming techniques or engineering techniques, all that kind of stuff. So this was kind of just a very practical, small town kind of vibe. And then also this town maybe sent some people to this trade school after you know uh, high school and stuff like that. This would be more of like kind of like a lumber industry town. You can see all the trees kind of here, these natural parks, these big rock formations, maybe some camping. People who kind of live here may enjoy like more camping, um, leisure activities. So really kind of in these outskirts on the side of the river, it was these two kind of dominant towns for a while. Maybe they were rivals in high school sports or something like that, where people would go to the high school games to on the weekends or Friday nights or something, to cheer on their local teams, kind of like some healthy rivalry. And then kind of in the middle here was a bit of industry. See, maybe they had like a lot of coal plants and a lot of I guess like landfills here, and they're slowly trying to turn into green energy with their solar plants. Still have some coal, so they're not completely green, but they still have some scars from uh, kind of landfills or just pollution in general. So this was kind of just kind of like a blueprint of the old kind of outskirt towns, with this kind of riverside community that's a bit newer. They have their own parks. They have a lot of basketball courts over here. It's a bit more urban than the other two parts on this kind of the outskirt towns, but I guess over in this district, I think the downriver, even though I think usually downriver is, I guess in modern times it's not as relevant, but for the sake of this video and this town, this downriver community is a bit more wealthy than this upriver community. This downriver, I guess, there's just more leisure activities, more going on. It's right across from the zoo, and the zoo's kind of on this peninsula, so you can kind of go to the park. You can kind of see some animals across the river, um, and then you know they also have this kind of amusement park over here and an airport. So lots of amenities over in this area. A bit more space to have a park and more commercial. Whereas over here, it's kind of a little bit more secluded. There's the origins of a monorail, or not a monorail, but a metro that kind of come out to this area. It's very sloppy in its design currently, but just to kind of paint the picture of what this area might kind of look like. Words when you do your writing and stuff can really make flesh this out a bit better and kind of cover those ugly spots. But just kind of a model of what these kinds of three districts could look like on the outskirts of town. Um, Over here on this kind of like island peninsula, um, we have the airport. The three main things are the airport, the zoo, and the amusement park. We were also kind of brainstorming some ideas of what this could look like if it were fleshed out. So this Park 6 could be like a nice park, and maybe some more like upper class suburban houses kind of up in this area, with these hillsides almost being more like eventually like a mini Beverly Hills. So we were kind of brainstorming if this Park 6 was more like a mini Central Park area uh, that wasn't in the city, with and then this Beverly Hills area. And the reason why we're kind of considering this hillside as the Beverly Hills is because if you were to live out here, you could in the distance see kind of like the city skyline, um, as opposed to if you were on this hilltop, you kind of can't really see it too well. You're instead looking over at the airport. So we kind of thought that this would be a better uh, real estate for having like nice, a bit off from the city, Beverly Hills esque type of homes. And just because it's kind of close to the zoo and the amusement park, it seems like it would be kind of a good fit for kind of some wealthier residents on this kind of this island. Um, then over, I guess on the other side, closer to the city, we have a bit more of like another small town, another mountain town. Again, it's not completely fleshed out as well, but um, we were thinking just kind of like small houses, kind of like I forgot the the words we were using to describe this, but just kind of like a small mountain town, as opposed to this mountain town, which is more like hills near farming. This one's maybe just like people who kind of maybe work in the city or work over in the industry, but kind of just want like an even more remote area that's further away from society. Also, thinking about this Beverly Hills area, we were thinking about maybe uh, you could incorporate some sort of like golf courses on top of the mountain, as well as maybe some like ski resorts in the wintertime, that kind of stuff. Just because there are these mountain sides, and you can even have like I mean, this is just kind of like an example again, but you could kind of pretend that these slopes are a little bit more steeper and have like snowboarding, skiing cabins as well. Um, just kind of like a wealthy area. But yeah, we got the wealthy side of the mountain, and then we've got kind of like the more remote, uh, more affordable side of the mountain, the other mountain. Um, Kind of going more into the city, we've got a liberal arts kind of college over here. I'd say this is kind of more in like the suburban district, even though this is very empty space. Thinking that this as a model, kind of these medium-sized houses, a lot of land, um, could be like just all of this area. So a lot of middle uh, middle class, upper middle class maybe types of areas with these pockets of just like small commercial shops scattered throughout. Um, and people from, I guess this would be like your kind of like average college goers would be going to like this kind of place. Um, and then kind of doing that all the way around this kind of like arterial beltway. Uh, just all along there would be like suburban, and then this kind of central area would be a lot more urbanized. You'd have your maybe like state level university here, um, with I guess more like law degrees and doctor degrees, that kind of medical degrees, that kind of stuff. Uh, we were kind of thinking about it like if this was the north cardinal direction, so the university would be in like the northeast. You'd have this park kind of in the central area, the north central. So this whole east side would kind of be a little bit more on the I guess a little bit more of the affluent side of the city, whereas like the western side would be a little bit more of the poor side of the city. And one of the reasons we were thinking about that is that it's closer to the industry, it's kind of closer to the highway, so the congestion would probably be higher along here, whereas this is kind of a little bit more open spaced. Maybe there's a little bit more money going into this side of the city. We were just kind of brainstorming some ideas. We got some other industry over here, which would be the ore mining and probably the state-of-the-art lumber facility. So you've got the old lumber, but the lumber industry was so booming in this area that they had to open up this like really nice one. And this newer facility is actually better than the old facility, even though they're both really good facilities. Uh, and then the makings of this ore place, they do like a lot of glass, a lot of. Um, I think my brother wanted like granite to be like one of the things, so it's a very rich in granite area. And then there's another kind of ore facility off to the, I guess if we're looking at the cardinal directions again, the far western corner with some old factories here. Um, so maybe just some of that kind of aesthetic. Again, more probably working class homes over here that are maybe a little bit more rural, more secluded, closer to the ore. And then it gets back into suburban and then back into the city. We've got an area that would be kind of dedicated towards sports facilities. So they're kind of all in this area over here. So exits, they aren't really made, but if you had exits kind of coming off into here, there would be a lot of like bars and stuff like that. We were even thinking about maybe having some boardwalks and piers that maybe even some of these stadiums could be along the lake, and then there could be another kind of local road that kind of connects to the far end of the lake, and maybe there's like some retirement communities that are kind of over there as well. Um, so these were some ideas we were having. We were also kind of talking about the elevated roads that we have here for the elevated highway, with kind of like this metro system that kind of goes along it. There's also another underground metro system that kind of goes through here. It would be a very bike friendly city, so you can see all these green would be bike paths, and there's also this elevated bike kind of beltway, if you will, that goes around the entire, um, I guess, urban area of the city. So um, very bike friendly. You could kind of bike everywhere. You could bike to the metros and I guess just kind of for public transportation purposes and traffic control purposes. But over in this old town, it might be a bit more traffic congested because it might have been designed poorly, and that's partially mostly because I can't really design road systems as well as I wish I could. But also, I think it kind of makes sense that this older area might have been kind of not as well thought out. So there's might be some traffic concerns there. They tried to put in like a metro stop or something like that, to try and help with that. But these are basically just ideas that we were kind of throwing around to help flesh out the world a bit more. He was the one kind of taking more notes because it's kind of going to be his city at the end of the day anyway. But I think he said that this was kind of, all he really needed. It's a very good not very good model, but it's a model that was used, and the purpose is pretty much complete. So I think I'm gonna stop this project. It was fun to do. Took a lot of time, but yeah, I think I'm definitely not the best person for designing a city, but it was definitely a fun project and cool to be able to help him out with something, and just good practice to play around with these kinds of tools and kind of think about how to design a city. Um, Fun project. Maybe we'll do another one at some point, but not not for a little bit. I think I want to focus more on the game I'm making. But yeah, fun project. Um, Maybe we'll do it again. Have a good day and weekend or week wherever you are. I'll see you later.